Hello everybody, it's me, 8-Bit Games here, and today we're going to be doing a tutorial on the server Stoneworks. Now if you don't know, Stoneworks is it's the oldest townie server in Minecraft. Well, essentially the point of it is to make your own nations, groups, and essentially roleplay with it, be a wizard, go on adventures and whatnot, while also fighting within a geopolitical scale. Now, I'm going to be going over one of the main mechanics of Stoneworks, and that's smithing. Smithing is essentially the server's way of having custom weapons that you can try and fight with, and there are many different ones. We'll be getting to a couple here in a little bit. But first we need to go over how to make smithing, or how to smith. In order to smith, you're going to need a smithing table or an Oraxyn Forge. This is a 3 by 3 block by 3 block structure. So essentially, it's 9 blocks total. Now, on Oraxyn, how you make an Oraxyn Forge is quite simple. You take black stone bricks and you put 3 along the sides, each here. A 7th one in the back, some lava, and an anvil. Then you fill the center place with black stone brick walls. And you fill in the top, but make sure to leave the center top piece open. Then you're supposed to put a sign here that says Forge, and that'll essentially allow you to make an Oraxyn Forge. Now, Oraxyn Forges have many different recipes. Many of them include things like the standard sword, katanas, or better made versions of them. You can make custom shields and whatnot. We'll get into those two a little bit, but first thing you need to know is an Oraxyn Forge has unique material systems. The first thing you need to know. Well, essentially, you build with a primary material and a secondary material. You have to build the entire thing out of those two materials in pairs. There are 6 tiers you can use to make weapons, except if it's a special weapon, which will have unique properties, but we'll get into that later. The 6 tiers include, going by primary material, gold, iron, amethyst, diamond, emerald, and netherite with their respective secondaries. You can't swap out secondaries, you have to keep them. And the durabilities increase depending on the type of material. Now, some tiers may or may not, while having higher damage values, may have low durability values. So that's something you have to keep in mind. Now, let's look at the type of materials you can use to make things. The chart I showed you general tiers, but there's more than just the tiers. There's also special materials that use for special builds, and then just base sticks. You have to, there's your base gold, ingot, iron, amethyst, diamond, emerald, and netherite, which make up your primary and secondaries. Most weapons, like the katana, use secondaries to make kind of the handle, while the primary becomes the blade. But some use actual sticks as a part of their build to make the handles as well, but they still use a secondary. Some don't have secondaries, and instead use primaries with alternative materials like a nether star or obsidian. Which I currently don't have an L star, but I'll be showing you some obsidian-based recipes. Now, the first recipe we have here, the first recipe that we have is the battle axe. The battle axe is essentially, it's an axe, 2-sided bladed axe, with the following stats I have posted on speed. Now, do note, these weapons don't just differ in durability and damage, but they also do it in their, they also differ in their hit times. Now, how I said, this is a standard battle axe recipe in which you'd get the following assorted outcome here. Your primaries go in your slots like so, and then your secondaries go here. Next we have is the cutlass. Now, some weapons can be very low in attack, but have in range. That's another thing. I forgot to mention that. There are 4 core stats that all weapons share. Durability, damage, attack speed, and range, which differs a lot varying from weapon to weapon. Do note again, if you have to have the server resource pack on, or else the weapons won't show up as actual weapons, or the weapons they are. Here's a cutlass, a relatively fair doing weapon with, again, iron secondary and amethyst primary. Then we have the dagger, which doesn't have sticks, or does have 1 stick, but it's very small in most situations. Looks like the gladius don't have sticks. This is the dagger. It's got the lowest range, I believe, of any weapon, but has the highest attack speed. Next we have is the Dane Axe. The Dane Axe is a sort of the Dane Axe is, do note you have to put these recipes exactly as I do in the crafting table, or else they won't work. The Dane Axe is a sort of, it's like a regular axe, but it's meant for more of like, I think it's throwing. It's an odd one. But yes, it has to be exactly like this, sticks on light. You can't like swap it around and do this. You can't do that. This won't work. Or having it off by 1 won't work either. Next we have is the Fascina. I'm not exactly sure what a Fascina is, but I'll have the arcane stats as well. I believe it's some kind of trident-like weapon. Next we have is the Gladius, which doesn't have sticks at all, which I'm actually going to make to show. So, do I have secondary, primary, Gladius? This should work. Unless the, let me try a different tier. Boom, Golden Gladius. Though I don't have the texture pack on. Give me a second to actually equip that. I have the resource pack on, and as you can see, the Golden Gladius isn't just a regular sword. It has a quicker attack speed, and it's got a cool name. Yeah, so there's the Golden Gladius, or just the Gladius recipe. Now, there are other recipes, such as we got the Great Axe, such as show. I'll put another recipe video online. Now, these weapons can sometimes go really high if you enchant them to great amounts, which they can do wonders in battle, especially since some weapons have specific niches. Which next we got we have the Great Axe, lovely weapon. Right, most specifically like is in the recipe table. Then we got ones like the Halberd, which do pretty good. This Halberd actually does pretty good reach wise. Some of these can get up to, I think it's like 8 blocks of reach. Here we have is the Katana, another great weapon. We have the Kopesh right here, and how it looks like. Then we have the Koruma, as is, with real life equivalent. The Kukui, as it is, and the available stats. Then we have some longer reaching weapons like the longsword. Usually the longer reaching weapons tend to have a smaller longer recharge times to use them, so do keep that in mind when you're making your weapons. We have a mace here, which looks like this boom amethyst mace. Next we have the Naginata. These weapons can range anything from Japanese to Egyptian to basic medieval. Here we have is the Naginata. Next we have Quarterstaff, a melee weapon. That's another thing. Some of these weapons don't do the same type of damage. They actually do different types of damage, like bludgeoning or slashing, which doesn't really have too much of a technical application, except for knockback. There's the Quarterstaff. Next we have is the Rapier. A quicker weapon, and in my opinion, better than the sword. Next, we have the rapier, as is shown, with this time iron being our primary and gold being our secondary. I'll put a little bar saying which is which for each of these recipes. The scimitar, the scythe. It's a pretty cool weapon in my opinion. I know several people who have some. The sickle. Oops. The sickle. Spear. Oops, I've actually put those two around. The spear. Next we have is the trident. Tridents in the custom mod pack aren't, well, not mod pack, the custom forging data pack aren't global, but you can still get regular tridents if you want to keep that ability. Next we have is the warhammer. As is. I'm actually going to get some of the other materials to show how you could build with those. And then we have is the cleaver. The great sword. like so. Gauntlets, which are the only recipe as of now, that require you to use leather in them. Mold gauntlets. The hammer axe, which is like so. Do note that this recipe does require a nether star right here in this bottom slot that I am unable to provide of this moment. Sorry very much, dear viewer. And finally, we have the macula. I'm going to butcher that horribly. Very sorry about my pronunciation. Mayan club. Then we have the light bringer. The light bringer. Why not doing that right? Primary, secondary. But yeah, that's some of the recipes you can make with this new smithing update. There are also other ones you can make, such as emerald, tools, and weapons in base Minecraft wise are also quite applicable. These are just some of the weapons you can make with this in Stoneworks Minecraft. They have different stats, they vary in abilities, and they have different ranges at which you can hit things. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Do note you can enchant all of these and improve them. And I hope you have a great day. This has been 8-Bit. I'll be with you always. Cheers.